Hello everyone, welcome to Basic Animation with Pencil 2D. My name is Oluwasegun and I'm so glad to have you on this lesson. On this module, we'll be talking about the basics of 2D animation using Pencil 2D. Also, we'll be introducing ourselves to Pencil 2D interface and its tools menu on this lesson. Our lesson objective for today is to understand the differences between the vector layer and the bitmap layer, identifying the Pencil 2D tool menu. We'll be identifying the Pencil 2D options menu, identifying the Pencil 2D timeline and other menus. And lastly, we'll be using Pencil 2D tool menu to create a simple 2D animation. That's what vector layer is all about. Now, vector layer is a layer in which images are created in form of lines and curves. Okay, images here tend to retain their quality whenever you zoom in because they use lines to, the images are being created in form of lines. Now, the next one is the bitmap layer. Bitmap layer is a layer in which images are being created in form of pixels, that is tiny dots. Here, images, whenever you zoom in or enlarge an image, you tend to lose the quality of the image you have created on a bitmap layer. So, in essence, the difference between vector layer and bitmap layer is that images on vector layer are created in form of lines. Images on bitmap layer are created in form of pixels. So, images on vector layer retains their quality whenever you enlarge or zoom into them, while images on bitmap layer tend to lose their quality whenever you enlarge or zoom in into them. Interesting, isn't it? So in the next topic, we'll be talking about the Pencil 2D interface. Thank you very much. Welcome back. Now let's head to the Pencil 2D software for a better understanding of what we're talking about. So here is the Pencil 2D software. I've launched mine down already. Now, what is Pencil 2D? Pencil 2D is a free and open source 2D animation software available for all systems, for all versions of system, Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. This software uses bitmap and vector layer for drawing 2D graphics images, okay, objects. It uses bitmap and vector drawing interface to produce simple 2D graphics and drawings. As earlier discussed in our previous topic, we talked about the bitmap and the vector layer. So this software uses the bitmap and the vector layer, and there are different segments on this Pencil 2D software. There are different menus on this Pencil 2D. The options menu, the display menu, timeline menu, we have the color palette region menu. Okay, so we'll be picking these menus one after the other and explain them. But for this lesson, we'll be quickly be talking about the tools menu. The pencil can be used to draw any line or draw any object. Okay, so as you can see, the pencil tool is being selected. I can come to my work area or canvas here and draw. Can you see? That is the function of the pencil tool. It helps us to draw any object. So you can increase the width. These options, it work hand in hand with the tools menu. So whichever tool you're working with, sometimes you get an option, maybe to increase the width or decrease the width. Increase the width of my brush now to 10 and draw the same rectangle. Can you see that it is more thicker than the other one? Okay, so there we have it. So the next tool we have there is the cleaner tool. The cleaner tool is more or less like the cleaner you use for your pencil. So that cleaner, it helps us to clean any object. Can you see? It's helping me to clean the object I've drawn on my canvas. The next one is called the select tool. Now this select tool helps us to pick a particular object on the screen. Okay, This, can you see the rectangle has been selected perfectly. Now, the next tool I have there is the move tool. Now, the move tool and the select tool work hand in hand together, in the sense that whenever you select an object and you want to move it from one place to another, after highlighting the object with the select tool, you will use the move tool to move the object from any location to another place on your canvas. Can you see? I've successfully moved that rectangle from its former position to another position. Okay, is highlighted using the select tool, and you move to any position of your choice. Now, the next tool there is the pen tool. So I'll select the pen tool. Now, the pen tool is more or less, is still the same thing with our normal pen that we use for writing. Now, the pen tool helps us to draw lines and curves as well. So, can you see? Don't forget that when we were drawing the pencil tool, it was on 5. The pen tool is also on 5 now. And you can see that the pen tool is more thicker pencil tool. So the pen tool helps us to draw visible lines, unlike the pencil tool. Okay, the next tool we have here is the hand tool. What's the function of the hand tool? The hand tool helps us to move our canvas. Can you see? And it helps us to extend, expand, and reduce the canvas or the work area. Interesting, isn't it? The next tool here is the polyline tool. Okay, line tool. The polyline tool helps us to draw straight lines and curves. Okay, so I'll draw like this. Can you see the function? The tool helps us to draw polyline. It helps us to draw straight lines, rather. It helps us to draw straight lines. Okay, interesting, isn't it? So we have it. That's the function of the polyline tool. The next tool we have there is the paint bucket tool. Now, this paint bucket tool helps us to select a color and drop it on a particular object. Assuming I want to paint this diagram I just drew here. Now, assuming I want to paint this rectangle now, I will use the paint bucket tool to do that. So I can palette region here and select any color of my choice. I can select from the color block, from the color box here. I can select yellow, or I can come to this color palette and select red. So I've selected the red color, and you come to the rectangle and left click. You can see the color has successfully dropped inside the rectangle shape there. Okay, that's the function of the paint bucket tool. So you can select any color of your choice and drop in any of the objects as you want. The next tool we have there is the eyedropper tool. Now, the eyedropper tool helps us to pick a color from a particular object and drop it on another object. Assuming, let me draw another shape. Let me draw this circle shape. Sorry, don't mind my drawing. Let me draw triangle shape here. Okay, now let me give it different colors. Let me use this time around. Let me give the circle a green color. Now, assuming I want to drop the red color, I want to paint this triangle a red color. Instead of me using the paint bucket tool, I can use the eyedropper tool, select this and drop it. I'll select the paint bucket tool and drop it. There we are. That's the function of the eyedropper tool. Instead of us going through selecting the color from the color palette region, you can just pick a color from your work area or your canvas and put on another object. The next tool we have there is called the brush tool. So the brush tool helps us to paint object as well. So assuming I want to paint this rectangle now, I want to drop a red color inside this rectangle. Instead of me using the paint bucket tool that will just drop easily for me, I want to paint a particular section inside this rectangular tool. I can use the brush tool for that. Then, can you see? The brush tool helps us to paint smoothly. As you can see, it helps us to paint a particular object smoothly. That's the function of the brush tool. The last tool we have there is the smudge tool. Now, the smudge tool, it helps us to paint, like smoothing the edges of a particular object. It helps us to liquefy or drag the edges of a particular object. So let me show you the function here. So this is a triangle now. Assuming I want to liquefy this part of the triangle, I can just drag. Can you see how it is working? It helps us to liquefy this region. Okay, so can you see that this side of the triangle has been liquefied? So that's the function of the smudge tool. Interesting, isn't it? So don't forget, the tool menu work hand in hand with the options menu. That is, if you select a tool, you get an option. Maybe you want to increase or decrease the width of the tool. Interesting, isn't it? So in our next lesson, we'll be talking about the other functions of the menu layers we have on Pencil 2D. That is the timeline menu, the display menu, and the color menu as well, and how to save your work. Thank you.